Viewer discretion is advised because for those that don't have the ears to hear or the eyes to see, this message is not for you. I came here with a knowing to finish Jesus' story. He was trying to empower us, unshackle us, allow us to leave the slaves that we were all behind. You have so much more power than you know, than you've been told. You've been taught that you're less than, but you're so much more. You've been told that you should ask and beg and have a mediator to speak to God, to Source. When you are a walking, living, breathing, biological, wireless antenna, you can speak to God yourself. I came here with that knowing. I wrote a book about it. I titled it A Star Child's Story. A story that can only be told in fiction. Because even though I knew that I came here for this thing that we would now call the awakening, I never understood how it would ever come to be. At times I lost my faith and my hope in humanity. And I love all of you so dearly. I truly do. But there's so much chaos and there's so much hurt. And everyone that I saw was in so much pain. I couldn't see how we could ever truly have an awakening. And I am so blessed and honored and grateful to witness it in so many aspects of this world. I'm so grateful. Because now I truly remember why I came here. Because you guys are beautiful. The human spirit is so strong and so pure at its core. Society told you to be something else. Society hurt all of you and most of my kind. A lot of starseeds that came here before and with me and even after couldn't bear the chaos and the pain. So they found a way out because they just couldn't deal with it and they didn't realize what they came here for. Some of us do. Some of us endured no matter what was thrown at us. And trust me, I'm not perfect. I'm no saint. I have 5 failed marriages, 7 beautiful children from it, but 5 failed marriages. Because even though I know so much, even I am hopelessly a romantic. Everyone I know has experienced pain. No one is capable of escaping it. But what I came here knowing is how to heal it. I can heal you, and I can teach you how to heal you, and I can teach you how to heal others. And yes, I still have some pain, but it isn't regretful pain. I knew what I would have to endure. Doesn't make it hurt any less. I accept it. I understand it. I understand that the people that hurt me didn't necessarily consciously set out to do so. They're just at a lower vibration, and because I'm at a higher vibration, I expected more. I understand. But again, it doesn't make it hurt less. And no, I can't cure you of all your pain from emotional upset and disappointment. But I can definitely teach you how to navigate through it and not be destroyed by it. How to move on and still have a heart space full of love. I'm a Cancerian. And I say a lot that I think Cancerians are like the 12th zodiac, so to speak, in the sense of they have the most obstacles to overcome, the most difficult obstacles to overcome. And whether you can overcome them or not is up to you and your abilities, your will, your strength, inward strength. And I don't say that in a egotistical way. I don't say that in a negative way or positive. I just say it because it's a fact. I'm very scientific in the sense that I look at things where we can gauge them and judge them fairly. And so I don't think about things lightly. I don't say things lightly. My opinions aren't light. They're very firmly based in scientific testing, the scientific way of doing things. And I want you all to know my truth and understand that I come from a place of chaos and pain as well. So that you know I'm not just some bullshit person that's out trying to make money or something. I don't want your money. I want your shackles off. And yeah, that might be a little bit egotistical on my part because until your shackles are off, mine aren't fully off either. It doesn't matter what I can manifest. It doesn't matter what I can do. And I can do a lot. Until you're on board with me and we're collectively doing it, it only matters on a small scale. Because everyone has free will. And everyone has that choice. And even if you choose not to choose, that's a choice. I need you to understand. I can help you free yourself in the truest manner possible. And if you don't believe me, look at people like Laura Eisenhower And what is his name? Uh, I had it wrote here on one of my notes. Oh, here it is. Augie Nost. I don't know if I say that right. Aage, Augie Nost. Nost. And he works with a woman named Nori, who's a beautiful, beautiful woman. She's a hypnotherapist and Reiki master and all kinds of wonderful things. And he set out to prove scientifically how powerful the mind is, which is what I came here to tell people about. How powerful our mind really is, and how if you truly use it, you can free yourself. You can completely unshackle yourself and all the rest of us. So, with that being said, I promised in one of my first videos that I would share sections of my book that I had written a long time ago. The title of the book was A Star Child Speaks, a story that can only be told in fiction. Because at the time, I really believed that that was the only way possible I was ever going to tell my story. Even though I knew I came here for something that we would coin the Great Awakening, among other phrases I was told about. I never really understood how we would ever be able to tell those stories. I understood that we came here in mass this time, en masse. Lots of us came here this time because people like Jesus were murdered easily and wiped out. And our ascension process didn't happen when it was supposed to. But now it will, because nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. And even though I knew that, and I walked through my entire 48 years of life with conviction of that, I really didn't understand how that would take place because I saw so much chaos in so many humans that I just really didn't understand how humanity could wake up enough for us to go on the path we're supposed to be on, that higher road versus that lower road. But now I see it because the awakening is in full force on so many levels, in all countries, in all walks of life. It's in full force. So I see it now, and I understand regularly that God's plan or Source's plan is not necessarily to be understood by me just because I know I'm part of the mission. Which brings me back to my book. I want to share an excerpt that started when I was about 6 years old. When I was a young child, I would stare in the mirror at my shoulder blades, wondering how come my wings are gone and now they look like this. I'd look often in hopes that maybe like when we lose our baby teeth and grow adult teeth, my wings were going to do the same. I used to feel so uncomfortable in this body. And now I understand that there are many here that do. But as a child, I was unaware of anyone but myself. I felt as if I was this tiny being of light that was peering through this cockpit that we call eyes of this giant robot or machine. I understood that my consciousness is what was controlling this machine or this body, this vehicle. I often likened myself to the image of the little Marvin the Martian from the Bugs Bunny cartoons. I was just this dark, shadowy figure that was sitting in the cockpits of my eyes. I also would look to the sky and wonder how I'd ever get back home. I didn't feel like I was sent to the right family even. And I certainly was frustrated over doing this ridiculous Earth school again because they teach everything so wrong. I also couldn't understand why my eyes weren't blue anymore because I remember them as being as blue as the sky. I also remembered that my hair was blonde, but now both are brown. Which was very puzzling for me. However, every trip I ever made to any eye doctor, they always looked at my eyes and said, "Did you know you should have had blue eyes? Because you have a blue ring around them, and you have the amount of pigment of a blue-eyed person rather than a brown-eyed person." And my reply would be, "Well, yes, I know I should have had blue eyes. I'm just blown away that you do. And the sun hurts my eyes very much. I have prescription sunglasses to protect me from the brightness of the light." When I was very young, I always intuitively knew that I could heal things. So I started out small and healed plants, and then my animals. And then I started healing myself. And then I started projecting that outward and healing family members and loved ones, friends. Didn't really affect me in this whole, wow, I'm one of the few people that can do that kind of scenarios, until my oldest child had a car wreck and flatlined. And God's big booming voice said to me, "Do what I've taught you and have no doubt at all, and she'll be healed." The doctors, and she had 11 specialists, told me at best she'll live 24 hours, and then 48, and then 72, and then, well, she may live, but she's only going to be a vegetable. And I never believed them because I know what I know. So long story short, in 3 weeks' time, she had went from gonna die in 24 hours to being in ICU, to being on a regular floor, to being in rehab, and then coming home in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Because I was healing her. She came home with a broken femur and a wheelchair full cognitive intelligence. Went on to be a straight A student. Graduated high school, top of her class, had her own job, bought her own graduation gown. She's now a mother of 3. That was a pivotal moment for me. That was when I really understood. Other people don't know they can do this. And that's really what I'm supposed to do, is to give you that power back. You're powerful. Jesus said, I am no more the Son of God than you are. And you too can go forth and do the same great works. And he wasn't bullshitting you. He was trying to tell you the truth. You're a creator because you're made in God's image. You're a co-creator. Yeah, everybody else around you is too. So until we're all on board, what we create is chaos. It's ego-driven. It's dog-eat-dog driven. What I know that you have, we really can change the world forever. And then another slogan that God told me will come true. Because I was told that we would say, the world as we know it is about to change. And ladies and gentlemen, it's about to change. Because the Great Awakening is here. And people are willing to know who they really are. Yeah. All right. Moving on. As a child, I had frequent visits, or checkups as I called them, from my star family, and there were many lessons that were taught to me by them and the archangels. Michael, in particular, began teaching me on the edge of a cliff, preparing me for spiritual battle. I think I was around age 12. Michael was with me the most of any, which is very odd to me, because up until my 30s, life seemed so mundane to me that I began to not even believe in angels. I didn't even think much of them at all. To be quite frank, I assumed that most of the claims of angels were really probably alien visits of some sort, of mistaken identity. I was growing wary and pessimistic, I guess you could say. But I really knew for sure that we had star brothers, because I remembered their visits and their lessons that they would teach me and the downloads that they would give me, and etc. So they were very easily acceptable to me, whereas angels seemed quite a reach. Yet, I had lessons with Michael from I think around the age of 12, as I said. And they seemed like physical lessons. A lot of the times on the edges of those cliffs, I was sword fighting or sparring with him. And then I grew to learn that the learning to spar was a lesson in the strategic mind. Only I didn't want to be at war with anyone. I didn't want to have conflict. So I didn't understand its importance. But now, as I'm older, I understand that the spiritual war, well, I mean, I knew that the spiritual war is very real, right? And that you need some sort of strategic mind in order to win the battle and win the war. You have to understand where your opponent comes from, even if you don't stoop to your opponent's level, you see. Similar to the art of war, I guess. Because you don't lower your standard. And you don't let the opponent know your move. But you understand what your opponent's move would be, even if they come from a different heart space. So I think that was the importance of the lessons that I learned with Michael. As I said, your star family will visit to do checkups, give you downloads or teaching, possibly classroom lessons. There are lots of people as children that found themselves in a room with other children, learning how to do telekinesis or naturally speaking through telepathy, understanding how to hone their clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, etc. I'm all of those. And here's the irony in that, because I used to think it was difficult for me to walk in this world with what I have until I understood that this entire world has it, and they're the ones walking with their foot somewhere else, and they just don't know. Isn't that interesting? You don't know. You're the one that's not aware that you're walking in two worlds at once. But when you know, and you take back your power, that mundane world falls away. Because that's when we can all really change what's going on. And it is coming. Because it's planned this way. Everyone's changing, everyone's ascending. Right now, as we speak. There are cyclical events that take place on a global, solar, galactic and universal and multi-universal level. There are events that are taking place now and that will take place in our near future. All of these events force upgrades. It's up to all of us how we react to the changes. And I'm going to help you get through that so that you can comprehend and understand and make educated choices toward our future. Now, as I said before, I'm not the only one that came here. So I want to explain a few things. A lot of us, we call ourselves light workers. So what is a light worker? And why are they here? Well, there's actually 11 types of light workers. There's grid workers who work with the energy grids of the planet to raise her vibration. They connect their heart grid to that of the earth. We usually do that on a collective scale, rather spoken or unspoken. There's also gatekeepers who focus within groups, or possibly solo, for a collective purpose to activate the portals within the ley lines of the planet. There are 3D map modules online that you could look at and research to see what these ley lines look like if you wish. There are divine light keepers who maintain a higher vibration for the most part and actively assist in calming the chaotic or the stressful vibrations of the earth, whether it be in earth changes or events that may be taking place, such as on 9/11. There are what we call transmuters who actively change the energy of the collective past karma in order to raise the vibration higher for all of us before the big event. There are healers who heal anything and everything and everyone on the planet that they possibly can, whether it be animals, trees, plants, wandering souls, lost souls, on any level, whether living or passed on. They're the healers of the emotional, mental, physical, and karma traumas. They also will assist in helping the deceased that can't find their way to the light back to the light. As we say for a recycling, because your soul never dies, only the container it was in or the vehicle. Then there are seers and psychics and clairvoyants. They can activate their third eye and intuition to see into physical body, mind, aura fields, etc. They see beyond the veil, which is lifting for everyone right now, as we all awaken as a collective. They heal, transmute, or release negative energies in whatever form that is or whatever it looks like. Then we have divine blueprint holders. They're not only the holders of the knowledge of the earth and humans and their blueprint and origin, but also of themselves. They came into being with a level of knowing and understanding of who we all are and how to access the info and utilize it in order to teach to the masses. Then we have dreamers who understand dream symbolism, um, can control their own dreams through lucid dreaming, can astral project, and strengthen the energy field of Earth in the astral realms or ethereal realms. Um, they do a lot of work on the spiritual level while they're in their dream state as well. If you wish to awaken more into your full potential, you simply see the intuition to do the light work or be shown something specific while you're asleep. Then ask the angels or the guides to show you what you most need to know, and then pay attention to what they show you. The dreamscape is actually a very wonderful place to learn and grow, um, if everyone would be willing to embrace the knowledge of how to do that. I've had a lot of really great experiences in the dreamscape land. We also have messengers. This is the channelers who receive messages from the angels or the guides, masters, star people, and family, as well as their own higher self. And then they pass on that knowledge to humanity to assist in the Great Awakening. Then we have the divine blueprint creators and manifestors. These are the weavers. They weave better than any spire known to man. They're the painters, if you will, the artists. They weave the light to create positive changes on this planet and positive timelines and positive events, and to bring positivity from events that they couldn't control at that moment or weren't aware of to control. They bring light and harmony into fruition through co-creation. They can manifest for themselves, of course, but their main focus is really for the highest good of all of humanity and the planet, including the inhabitants of the water and the air, the animals, the plants, everything, you know. They're not ego-driven. We also have the way showers and the guides. They lead by example, walk the walk, talk the talk, teach people how to tune into the blessings and the lessons in any circumstance, as well as how to overcome the pitfalls of life and get out of the matrix. Being a light worker isn't inclusive. We all have the ability to do all of these things. It also doesn't mean that you're either one type or another. Many light workers who are aware of what they truly are will take on many of these tasks, if not all of them. There's no right or wrong way to how many you can do. Any of it that you do is very useful and purposeful for our mission, which is to create heaven on earth again. You know, Eden, Age of Aquarius. Get rid of the chaos, get out of the matrix, unshackle ourselves, not let the man and the black hats, or whatever you want to call them, keep us down, be our puppet masters, be truly free, have natural law like God intended it. Because you were even lied to about the story of Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden. But we'll get into that later. In simple terms, light workers are souls who choose to come here and spread the light in love, freedom, knowledge, and understanding or comprehension of who you truly are. There are many people that are here now. They're light workers that don't even realize it. That have been abducted by aliens and don't even realize it. Because really, those aliens that are abducting them are part of this cause. And so, if your mind or like your human self isn't ready to accept that, there are ways to keep you from remembering what has taken place or who you are until you're ready, until your inner strength is strong enough to understand and comprehend and understand. Because it would be too traumatic and detrimental to your psyche if you're not ready to wrap your mind around it. But there are signs, such as a sense of being the outsider, or feeling like you're that person that stands outside and looks inside and sees it all play out, even though no one else can. They can't see it from that third party perspective. Another sign that you could be a light worker is that you're highly sensitive or empathetic. And so if you're empathetic and you're picking up on others' emotions in the room or in your 6 degrees, then you tend to have this great hunger to have time alone. And you don't even know why. You just know that you need to get away from people and just decompress. You're probably a sleeping light worker. If you're someone who most people would see as timid or shy, you're a real introvert, you're probably a light worker. Because introverts tend to be people who don't feel like the outside world understands them, and so they're not willing to come out of their shell. They feel safer in there. On the extreme end of that, there's also the light worker who needs to be expressive. These people are typically artists or writers or very musical, avid meditators, have very animated gestures, comedic, possibly even inspirational speakers, or just inspirational amongst their friends and their 6 degrees. And they also really like to sit alone in nature. Again, back to that need to retreat and decompress. They also have this strong drive to help others, the need to be a teacher or a therapist or a nurse or a doctor or a life coach or, whatever, anything that would allow them to help others, being a counselor, whatever it is. We tend to have this very strong desire to help. There's also something called incarnated angels. All have free will. It's just not the same as humans. Their free will is a one and done choice. Either you follow the will of the divine, or you don't. No takebacks. That's where we get fallen angels from. They decided not to follow the divine plan. So they were separated from Source due to their choice not to follow it. And the divine plan really, truly, at its core, is just the highest good for all. The highest good. So they were cut out and left out. And we have volunteer souls who are angels who volunteered in response to the evil that was being unleashed on this planet due to the choices due to the choices of the fallen ones. They are here to free humanity from the enslavement of the programming via manipulation, control, fear-based programs that the fallen ones have put into place, along with certain groups and cabal. You know their names, who are the ancestors of the fallen angels. And that's why bloodlines and blood types are so important to so many. Since they are all permanently cut off by the divine from the absolution of God or Source, they deliberately will cause chaos and ill will to please the lesser gods. And so most, if not all of this, at this point, most or not, let me try again. Most, if not all, of these groups are satanic. And I hope I don't get censored for that. But the good news in that is that there's so many ascended masters and light workers and earth angels or star seeds on this planet right now at this time that there truly is no stopping what is coming. And what's coming is the ascension process for all, and not just mankind, the entire planet and everything that inhabits it. Everything gets an upgrade. The slumbering sleepers with the veil still waiting to be pierced. Those are the people that I have to still wake up. Me and many, many others. Those people that have that sense of waiting, that sense of maybe it's going to happen. Those are the ones that need to wake up. We can't save everyone. We can't wake everyone up. But if we get enough wake, we can save everyone in that sense. So that's the goal. Wake up the ones who are ready. Wake up the ones who have a sense that there's something else going on that we're not seeing or we're not being told. Now, I just want to be clear about something. Ascension does not mean that we lose our physical form or that we're going to go from this planet to some other planet. When people refer to a new Earth, it's not a brand new place that we go to. It's this place that we recreate anew. Okay? There's a lot of people out there that try to misconstrue that and make people think that this is some weird woo-woo shit. where we're going to have some other planet to go to, or that we're going to become these rainbow bodies and not have physical form anymore or whatever. No, your rainbow body is within you. It is your chakras. When you can light up every chakra you have, you are the rainbow body. When you can hone everything you have in you and create and manifest the reality that you damn want, you're the crystalline child. That's when that shit happens. We're not going anywhere except forward. The choice is, do we take the high road or do we take the low road, like the Hopis talk about? And my money's on the high road. And I don't want your money. I want you to take your shackles off. I want to finish Jesus' message and free us all. And God willing, I will. I'm going to leave it there. Until our next time, be well and be blessed in love and light.